Hi, my name is Jessie Martinez. I'm an author, therapist, and a coach. I want to help you today as you deal with grief and loss. I want to help you to remember, to recover your life, and to recreate your life. So, I want to talk to you today about if you're going through grief, about how do you remember the good. And one of the ways to remember the good is to do a simple box of remembrance, where in that box you're putting in items that remind you of your loved one, items that remind you of a special day, an occasion, a memory that you had with them. And this box it doesn't have to necessarily be a box, but this item, right, this thing that's holding all those items can be taken with you from place to place as you move, can be passed on to your children or your loved ones, can also just be a symbolic time where when you want to spend time thinking about the loved one that you lost, you have this box that represents memories. And you may say, well, that's difficult. It might be difficult to put in, a whole lifetime of memories or years and experiences into a box. Well, you can start with just taking pictures of large items and including that box of remembrance. So that way you don't have to have necessarily the table itself or the desk or the chair or the treasure chest that was given to you, but you have a picture of that item and you put that in your box of remembrance. But the purpose of that is just to be able to have somewhere where you can go, and let's say you just want to spend time thinking about your loved one in the most positive way, is that you can pick up this box and you can very therapeutically go through those items and remember those days, those times, those moments that were shared, and why that specific item represents that loved one to you. So remembering the good is one way. Another way that you can do that is just by telling their story, whether it's recording the story of your relationship with them and what made it so special and why you love them and why you admired them, and how they meant what they meant to your life. You record that story, you can write that story down, you can actually videotape yourself telling the story, or just get a hand recorder or a voice memo and have a voice memo of you telling the story of your loved one. One that is, it's therapeutic and that's allowing you to remember them in a very positive way and keep those memories alive. And it could be something that you share with others at a time and place that you choose later on. But that's helping you to do the first part of the healing process, which is to remember your loved one. When I talk about loss and grief, and I talk about the work in that period, the work is to remember first, right? Because there's much that we have to bring up because of that experience with that person. Then we look at recovering, right? Holding on to everything that was good, recovering what might have been lost with losing that person, and then recreating. How do you incorporate that person into your life going forward, but in a very different way since they're no longer present? So when we talk about remembering, recovering, recreating, this is the first step, right? Remembering, whether it's a box of remembrance, whether it's telling the story, right? Telling the story through video, through audio, or just in person to other people that you love, keeping their name alive, keeping their legacy alive in the hearts of others, and especially in your heart, is an important part of healing, right? After loss, healing after death of a loved one. Another thing that you can do is have a memory book, right? Similar to the box where you can have items or pictures of items if they're too large for a box. The memory book can also have pictures, have words, have sayings, have, basically it's like a scrapbook remembering that person and their impact not only in your life, but the life of other people who are around you that you love also. And then another way is to just do special acts of kindness, acts of service, acts of love, right? But you're doing it in the name of the person you lost, right? Or the people that you have lost. You're giving back to society. You're caring for somebody or something or a part of some nonprofit group doing good in the earth in their name, as a part of carrying on their legacy. So thinking about your loved one and thinking about what were the issues, the people, the circumstances that mattered to them, and how can you continue to help with that issue, that circumstance, that matter? How can you be a positive influence? There are people that have lived with dreams and hopes and things that they wanted to see done during their lifetime that unfortunately, because death came too soon, they didn't have the time to carry that out, carry that dream, that hope, that legacy out. But maybe you, being someone who knows and loves them, being someone that's probably part of their family, maybe that dream was meant to be dreamt by them, but carried out and lived by you. And what if you did a small act of pushing that dream forward? Whether it's a financial contribution, whether it's an actual physical contribution of labor, whether it's just being a voice, an advocate in that particular area for that particular issue, so that person's legacy can live on through there. Some of us die with our dreams not being fulfilled, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't meant to be spoken and shared so that someone else would have the courage to carry it on. And maybe it's for you to have the courage to carry it on in their name, and thus continuing on, right? Adding good work, good advocacy, right? A sense of purpose into the earth. So just something to consider as a way to remember your loved one. Another way to remember your loved one, right? We talked about giving, and giving doesn't always have to be financial, but time, resources, right? Positive words of encouragement to those who need it are many ways that you can give and have a positive contribution, right, on earth, in your life, and in your lifetime. So now we're going to talk about grieving the things that are left undone, right? So this is where we talk about recovering. So the first portion of this was about remembering. And to recover, we have to grieve some of the things that were left undone. Maybe the times that we wanted to visit that we didn't visit. Maybe the things that we wanted to say that we didn't get to say, right? Things that are left undone is maybe you wanted to ask for forgiveness but didn't have a chance to ask for forgiveness. This doesn't mean that you can't personally write down the things that you wish that you were forgiven for and allow yourself to be given the gift of forgiveness, even though that they're not here, right? So you want to look at that. You want to look at the stories that are not being told, that didn't get a chance to be told, and you want to write them down, right? Maybe there was something that you wanted to share with your loved one that you didn't get to share with while they were alive. Well, write it down. And then when you have moments of reflection, time where you're thinking about that person, you can go over that story as if they were there, as if you're getting a chance to tell them that story, right? That the words get to be expressed. So you're not just carrying it, but you get to express it in a way that's comfortable for you. We grieve the questions we didn't get to ask. We grieve the answers that we didn't get to hear. We grieve secrets and stories and mysteries that were not shared, that we wanted to know about, that maybe we didn't want to know about, but we found out after that person has passed. There are so many things that are left undone when someone passes. But it's important to, as part of your recovery, to look at those things that are left undone and then make a decision about that thing, that question, that concern, that mystery. Right? Make a decision, is it worth pursuing? Make a decision, is it worth letting it go? Is it worth just not knowing, but allowing the dignity of that person's life to continue, despite that there's an unanswered question, there's a mystery, or there might have been a secret. There are some things that preserve the dignity of that person's memory that need to be preserved. And there are some things that allow the family to heal and the family to recover and move forward that needs to be told. But that is a very individual and personal decision. And it'll take time to process and time to see which direction you're choosing to go in. I recommend that if it's something that's difficult, that you get the help of a licensed professional to process the questions, the thoughts, the feelings around the particular issue, around your loss and your grief. And then after processing, you can make a decision in which direction you want to go in that particular issue to help you to recover in the time of loss and grief. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. Get the help of a trusted loved one. Get the help of a trusted licensed professional to process some of those things that are left undone. Because if you're trying to figure out where's the pain, the first place the pain will be is in the actual loss of that person and that they're no longer here with you. And the second area the pain will be in is in all the things that were left undone, unsaid, unforgiven, undiscovered, and all the questions. And in that area, you want to make sure that you get the help of a licensed professional, because that's going to be another source of pain, but also can be a source of recovery and change and finding a very different and new way to live. But don't neglect that care. Don't neglect to look at that area of your life, and don't neglect to get help in that area of your life as you figure out how to go through the process of grief. Remember, recover and recreate your life. Until next time, thank you for joining me.